So namaste, welcome, good evening. Welcome to these beautiful, lovely Sunday evenings. So precious they've become for all of us with our honest sharing and sincere participation in these sessions. So Vinita, if you would just like to introduce the topic that we chose for this week.
Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to everybody. And honestly, your feedbacks are the backbone of the Sunday sessions, and they make us and fuel us to bring every time a new topic. This time, it's a very interesting topic that Didi has come out with. And she says, open and close your fist and see with an open fist, how much can you receive? And with a closed fist, how much lesser you can receive. Some people may actually say, going back to our very old traditional way of thinking, ki khulli mutti to khakti or band mutti to lagti. But here we are talking about completely different concept in the spiritual world, which says that you have to keep yourself open to possibilities. And I think we are so scared of the unknown that we make ourselves so rigid to some amazing possibilities that are there around. So, Didi, first I would actually request you to briefly tell us about the beautiful topic, and maybe some of us may not be very clear about how it really works in our spiritual law of detachment. Over to
So
you, Didi.
actually, when I just read this, it just came up as as a thought for the day somewhere. I was reading something and it just came to me. And like sometimes these things, these statements that you read, they instantly touch a chord inside you and they become like so real for you when you read them. So I reflected on it when I read this and I realized that, and actually I did this, like all of us can do. If we close our fist, how much can you hold? If you close our fist, how much can you hold? Versus if you open your hands, how much can you hold? It's something which is so clear and tangible and evident, isn't it? So yes, one is in the physical world, and what Vinita quoted was probably coming more from the material or the three-dimensional aspect of life. But when you really open yourself, open your fists, open your hands, open your heart, there is so much more that you can receive. And it's only when you receive that you can give. So that is the reflection that came to me. We say, open your heart, be generous, offer yourselves, your services out to people. And that's one of the biggest way of growing in life. So when I read this, I really realized that when we say open yourself, and in the conditioned school of thought, the way we've grown up, it's always that, just stay in your own, just stay inside, don't put yourself out too much, don't go out too much, don't expose yourself too much. So we've always lived a very protective, shielded kind of a life because we are always coming from a space of fear. That was my understanding of it. And not to say that one has to really just go out and become arrogant and flaunt yourself out like that. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Being open really means, firstly, for me, one of the things that I understood from it is that just be open to broader perspectives, to newer perspectives that life, the universe, everything around you is offering you. We get so blindfolded that we just want to walk, in this particular path, which is safe, which has been walked upon before, which people always feel comfortable walking on. But if you just allow yourself to walk on new paths or see other avenues that are also falling in your way, you will see how much more you can receive in life. It's like an ocean. It's like an ocean, as I quoted last time also. If you go and take a bucket of water from an ocean versus taking a whole, say a tanker full of water, the ocean is not going to dry up. So the choice is yours. The choice is totally yours. It's all available. Each one of us here has such a deep potential within us, whether it is in our career, whether it is in our spiritual journey, whether it is on the personal front. In every aspect, we have so much to receive, but we close ourselves because, we've always been told, just stay within your limits, don't cross your limits. And yes, we understand those are boundaries which maybe we need to be careful about. But if we are living in a space of awareness, it's not that we're going to become greedy or arrogant or, selfish that, oh, let me just grasp this. No, when we look, when we are on the spiritual path, a lot of times it's really receiving so that we are able to share. That's my understanding of this. And I really feel that even now, like, see, I read this topic, it just rang a bell somewhere inside me. I reflected on it, thought about it, meditated on it, and now here it is out to share to all of you. So the more we open ourselves to wider perspectives, to new opportunities, to new avenues that the universe is putting in your path, you will see how vast, beautiful, and open this life will become, versus just living in a very confined, protected, safe way. And again, that does not mean, I mean, just understand that there's a subtle line. That does not mean that we just go all out and, not be careful looking into things. No, it's just like the protocol that we are being asked to follow now in COVID. Things are settling down. The number of cases are really, really less by the grace of God. People are getting vaccinated. People are moving back to normal life. Travel is happening, marriages are happening, people are meeting up more and more, but they're not going crazy like we went before the first, at the end of the first wave. They're not really going crazy. They're all drawing a little boundary and stepping out slowly, slowly, opening ourselves there, but still remaining within our norms. So that's just what I mean by that is what this statement sort of made me reflect on. So don't stop yourself. Like, you can't stay indoors that, okay, now COVID has happened and the third wave might come, so I'm not going to step out. No, just be intelligent about it. Step out, take the necessary actions. If there's an opening that is coming to you, go out, step out, but take the necessary precautions. I don't know if it makes sense. Any reflections, Vinita?
Actually, while I was working on this topic and we were discussing, I read something very beautiful, which partially I understood, and then I thought I'll ask you. It says the search for security is actually an attachment to certainty, and the known is the prison of our past conditioning. So possibly that's the reason that we want everything so what we already know, because we are too scared to maybe experiment, or and hence we close ourselves to a very rigid framework.
Absolutely. I think the statement that you read out has summed up what I'm wanting to say really beautifully, because we are living in fear. I always say that all emotions arise from two basic emotions, an emotion of fear or an emotion of love. And if we are coming from a space of fear, which we actually have been conditioned to live with, because from the beginning, if you go back to humankind, it was always survival of the fittest. Save yourself, protect yourself. So coming from that, in a very gross way, I would say, to this subtler level where we are today, we have to understand that we always want to be in a safe, in a secure environment and in a safe setup. But as we step out and as we see now that we can be safe but still break through those barriers of conditioning and really open ourselves to living in a much more, say, expansive way, there'll be so much more that we will receive from life. There'll be so much more that we will receive from life.
But anyway, does it really resonate with the law that, or possibly the karmic law that we have all read? We don't get attached to the results. Karma nevadikaraste mahakaleshu kadachan. That you do your best and you just let go of the result of whatever the work that we are actually doing. So doesn't that also open up to the things that if it has to happen, that the way you always tell us, there's a divine timing. If it has to happen, it will happen. If it is not, then all the more good, because possibly God has decided something else for you.
So if we were to look at it as the spiritual laws, more than this, I would say this directly connects to the law of attraction. I'll talk about the thought that you have shared, which is also an extension of this law. The simple law of attraction is whatever you focus on expands in your life, isn't it? You focus on lack, you'll feel that there is nothing that is there in your life. You focus on gratitude, you focus on abundance, and you'll see that everything will be abundant in your life, isn't it? So in the same way, if you just keep yourself shut within your four walls, that will become your world. You will not be able to break out of it. Just hang on with those few friends, or just limit yourself to a simple daily routine, and not wanting to, say, experience any kind of change, then you live very comfortably in that, and you live with that, but there'll be no growth really, if you understand what I'm saying. On the other hand, if you open up yourself, I mean, that's that much more that you can receive. Even if I want to give you something, if your fists are closed, you cannot assimilate it. On the other hand, if you open yourself and say, yeah, I'm ready to receive more, I'm ready for more, I'm ready to step into the unknown. And you use a very important word here, that certainty. There is a lot of insecurity around. And when we are in a safe environment in our homes, then it's like, yeah, I know I'm protected. I have my, parents, or I have my partner, I have my children, and we're all fine within our four walls. But that is also not any criteria of certainty. You may be sitting in the most safest place on the planet, and suddenly there might be an earthquake, or the roof might fall. So nothing is certain. Why not go out and move out, explore, see how much life is there, how much life is offering you, and break through those conditioned ways of being. And yes, take them as you're comfortable. There's no need to just rush yourself and put yourself out there, or take the plunge off the cliff. Step out safely, surely, being looking at everything, but slowly open yourself to much more, because life is offering you more. When we are on a spiritual journey and we start feeling these shifts in our energies, and we start moving from the spectrum of fear, the constricted spectrum of fear, towards the expansive side of love, there's a lot that starts to happen inside. And that's the spiritual churning, that's the spiritual seeking that begins to happen all around. And then you feel that everything around is so uncomfortable. It's because now your energy is growing. It's ready to move out. It's ready to explore. It's just like, how the child is in the womb for 9 months, comfortably safe, secure. But now it's time for the child to move out and explore a bigger world. And yes, it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable stepping out. But the moment you step out, you step into a new life, a whole new world, a whole new life. So everything has its time. And when you are being given an opportunity to step out, or to, walk on new paths, fear is the only thing that can hold you back. And then one feels, I don't progress ahead in life. I'm stuck. What are these words? What do they mean? That I'm just stuck in a little thing and I really want to move out. And when your energy is ready, then you won't need anybody to give you that push. You will just come out. But if not, then you will need those kind of pushes from people around you. And the biggest thing is that you will have to open yourself. Say that yes in your heart. Say that yes in your heart to whatever it is that you're wanting to aspire for, move towards. And then the whole universe will come about giving you what you want. That is something which is important for everyone to reflect on. Living in a confined, safe environment as we have been living, we never, in the past, and I'm talking about maybe a generation before us and even our generation, it was okay. Like now you've got into this job, this is it. There was no chance of changing a job, changing a business, looking at something new, because it was, yeah, this is how it is going to be. And then, now this is a inherited business. Your grandparents did it, your forefathers did it, now you're going to do it, your children are going to do it. So it was all a very safe, conditioned way of living. And then suddenly the universe, changes things, because it's happening globally. And you have to reflect on things. I mean, I remember a couple of years back when plastic became so important in everything. Plastic water bottles, plastic milk packets, plastic. And it had become so comfortable because glass bottles were heavy and tin packaging was very heavy and expensive, and everybody turned to plastic. But what happened in a couple of years? It just polluted the whole, the whole atmosphere and the globe so badly that we had to come to a point of shutting it down. So why I have given you this example of plastic is that all those people who had been for years, using those packages first of glass and tin, and then slowly they moved to packaging with plastic, their businesses had to shut down. There were government laws that you cannot use plastic to whatever degree, or, the specifications. So a lot of people had to shift, change their course. So either you can sit back and say, oh, now the government has declared something, or it's, there's no more use of plastic, so I'm totally bankrupt and I have no work. Or you can change your course, find more eco-friendly ways of packaging and so on and so forth. It may be a very random example, but it seems very apt. You can either sit back and say, okay, now these are the 4 walls, now I'm suffocating in this. Or you can break out and say, okay, let me try living in maybe living in a caravan and traveling the world. They seem very vast, but you have to step out. So how will you step out? Where is the energy to step out coming from? It has to come in from opening yourself from within. And opening, to me, is directly equal to dropping fear. Totally dropping fear. And when I say dropping fear, now all of you have been hearing me talk on this platform for so many months. Dropping fear equals to what? Connecting, trusting in the higher picture, in the universe. Knowing that, okay, if one door has been shut, something will open up for you. The universe will never abandon you. God will never abandon you. Some pathway will open up, but be open to looking at that and not confining yourself to saying, oh, this has changed, now I don't think I can handle it. Because that's not true. That's not true. So really, from there, moving to the example that Vinita also said, dropping attachments. Dropping fear means what? Dropping attachments to your home, to your space, to your, to your closed ones, because you feel, okay, this is my comfort zone. I can't step out of this. But if you drop those and understand that nobody is really here to threaten you or to, harm you in some way, and slowly step out, you'll see how much belongingness, how much love there is in the world that is available to you. But the opening has to come from inside.
Possibly that's the reason people go into the self-sabotage also, when they don't open themselves up to receiving. And you really want to do something for some people, even the closest of people, they are not ready to accept. And is it also a divine timing or self-sabotage? They become so rigid in their thinking and closed the way, because without uncertainty, life is just a repetition of outworn memories, if we can say that. How do we approach such people who are into this mode of rigidity?
So on this path of spirituality, or whatever I have learned in terms of energy healing, the best way to approach somebody is to be living it yourself. The best way to show a path to somebody is to be living it yourself. We tell parents of children who are, wanting to discipline their children, that the children are watching you all the time. If you live a disciplined life, you will never have a complaint from your child, or you will never have to discipline your child. So in the same way, if you really want to show the flexibility, show the openness to somebody, especially to a closed one, start living it. Start showing that you're so happy in the midst of whatever might be happening around, because you have trust in a bigger plan, in a bigger picture. And then you will see that they will also want to be in that space of happiness, because everybody wants joy, everybody wants happiness, isn't it? So once you start living it, then you will see how they too will come around and ask you, so what are you doing? I know so many people who have learned Reiki, and they keep saying, oh, I really wish my child could learn, my husband could learn, my parents could learn. And they keep telling their parents, but they say, no, we don't want to believe in all this, we don't want to learn. But the moment they start living their life more truly, with more respect, with more love, and joyously, the other people turn around and ask them, hey, what are you doing? How come you're so joyous in the midst of all this that is happening in your life? You've just lost your job, but you're so peaceful. You've just broken off from a relationship, but you're so peaceful, or you're so joyous. So it's because your energy talks more than your words. And then you can tell them, yeah, I fully trust in the universe. If something has closed down, I'm sure something else will open up for me, and I'm fully in trust with that. I cannot waste a day of my life, or till I don't get another job, I'm not going to be sulking and cribbing and crying. And I don't want to attract a job from that energy. I want to attract a job from this joyous, trusting energy. So once you start living it, people will turn around and ask you that, okay, so what are you doing? So just to answer your question, that show that openness. If you show that openness, you'll see that your children will follow you. They will not fear taking those steps outside or taking those risks that you have put yourself to. But if you're telling the child, oh, don't go out, it's very dark, come back at 6 o'clock, if the world is not safe, and you're in fear yourself and you're imposing your fears on your children, then naturally they will accumulate that, isn't it? But if you say, yeah, it's okay, of course you have to be safe and protected and you have to inform whenever you need to. But yeah, just be vigilant, but go out and, live your life to the fullest. You will see that the universe will support you. And let them also have trust. Let others also have trust in the bigger picture. By first yourself trusting the bigger picture, the bigger plan, as we say. And then everybody will 100% believe and trust what you're saying. You won't have to push them into dropping that rigidity. They will flow with that because that is our natural way of being. Our natural way is not to be rigid. The natural way is just to open. A child does not know. He crawls into everything. There's a pond, there's a rat, there's a lizard, there's a electricity socket. He will just go and put his finger anywhere. It's only you will tell them, no, don't go there. You will fall. You'll get a current. Just, it's a mouse. You'll start screaming because you're scared of the mouse. The child is not scared of the mouse at all. But we create that fear inside them. So the best way is that it's okay, take your necessary precautions, but you don't have to just, bottle yourself up and just not step out.
True.
So we condition ourselves because we are always coming from a space of fear. And now we know that, fear is totally an aspect of the lower chakras. When we are stuck in that space of fear, we are totally stuck in the lower chakras. But as we start expanding and trusting in the higher powers, we start moving from the lower space of the root chakra, and we even do in Reiki, we start moving up to the higher chakras. And when we actually come to the middle chakra, the heart chakra, that's where we open ourselves. We really open our fists, isn't it? Because we now move beyond the 3 dimensions of the lower 3 chakras. We move up into the throat chakra, beyond the heart, opening ourselves to unconditional love. And this word is very, very powerful. It's not that feeling that attachment or love for a few people or from a few people. It's like, yeah, the universe loves me. God loves me. My angels love me. Everybody loves me. And then you see how much you receive. You move into a more creative realm, into the throat. You become more intuitive as you connect to your friends in the spiritual realm. And you see how easy it is to connect to your guides, to your masters, to your guardian angels. But we have to first get out of the traps of the lower 3 chakras, which are caused by fears, anxieties, and other egoic issues. So open yourself. When life throws something at you, which you have been always yearning for. I really wish I could travel abroad. Now, when the opportunity comes, when it starts knocking at your door, you'll say, oh my God, I don't know if I'll be able to sit on a plane. I don't know if this is meant for me. How can I be so lucky? This is not for me. I could never dream that I would travel in my life. Now, when you say such things, you're blocking those avenues. You're shutting your fists. Say, wow, I know I fully deserve it. And that is why the universe has put this in my path. Let's see what will happen. Worst come worst, I'll have a panic attack on the flight, but I'll still reach my destination. And whatever is meant to be is meant to be. So break out of those little fearful, thoughts that the mind is sending to you. Only to keep you safe. There's nothing wrong. It's only to keep you safe. Yeah. And when you start stepping out slowly, some people are just so bindas. They say, "Dekha jayega, kya hoga? I am going. Life has offered me an opportunity. I'm not going to waste it. I'm just going to step out." And others may say, "Okay, no, let me think. Let me speak to somebody. Let me be very sure. I'll wait for some time." You're postponing those opportunities that are coming your way. And as you said, Vinita, again, there is a divine timing. If they're meant to be postponed, they will be postponed. But if we are in awareness and if we say, okay, God, give me the courage. I really want to do this. Give me the courage to do it. You will see what a support you will get. You'll actually be handheld and taken through the entire journey.
But you have...
Auntie, I have a question.
Yes.
Opening up, how much do we open first? And for a person who's coming from from a trap of fear, from a trap of anxiety, how do we open so quickly?
So it's not about opening quickly, because that time, again, like I said, it's divine timing. But the fact is that you're aware that there's an opening. Na? Abhi tak to wo bhi nahi pata tha aapko ki there is an opening. You just thought this is my life, isn't it? Now there's an opening, some light is coming out, and you don't know how much to open and step out. But trust, again, there also the word trust, has to come in. Open up and step out as much as you are comfortable in. You don't have to rush out. You don't have to rush out, but you don't have to shut the door. You know, and again, there are so many people who will walk out through that door in their own way. You know, you just watch if you're sitting in a place where a lot of people are coming and going, maybe at an airport, at a railway station, at a metro station. You'll see everybody. Somebody will be running in, somebody will be running out, somebody will just be strolling in, somebody will be strolling out, somebody will be rushing, oh, the doors will get closed, in spite of the fact that they know that the doors are going to be open for the next, say, a minute. Somebody will walk absolutely slowly that, okay, if the door closes, I'll wait for the next train. You know, somebody will be walking in very busily, somebody will be walking with full awareness and attention. So everybody is different. So move at your own pace. Move at your own pace. It's very, very interesting to watch all, you know, the way people move and do certain things. And it's not about judging them at all. It's just about understanding that, you know, they're coming from a different, say, mindset, a different DNA, a different programming that is there in their subconscious. So in the same way, when you allow yourself also to say, okay, now God is giving me this opportunity. What should I do? Should I take it? Or should I say, no, it's okay. I don't know what happens outside. Somebody could harm me. There could be a past. See, last time I tried to step out, I fell down. So I'm not going again. Now, those are voices of conditioning. Again, I'm giving you that quote that I love to quote, that when a young child, a small toddler begins to walk, every day he falls down at least 200 times. You've seen the children, na? To walk from here to here, they'll fall down 15, 20 times. Again, they'll get up. What will you tell that child? Oh, you've fallen, don't walk again, don't stand again. You say, koi baat nahi, khare ho. You know, very good. Take another step, take another step. You'll encourage the child. Na? In the same way, even if a fear comes in, because the child is not egoistic, the child doesn't know about fear. Oh, I've fallen, people are looking at me, what will they be thinking? Oh, he's fallen, how can he stand up again? Child has no mind for all this. Child is just going on bindas. Energy inside is saying, come on, now you can stand on your 2 feet, stop crawling. The child is getting the confidence, you know, standing up, falling, standing up, crawling, standing up, falling, but moving, moving, moving. And what, you meet the child in the next week, you'll see the child is just running, doesn't even know that it ever crawled or it ever fell. So take and walk at your own pace, but don't shut that door just because of past voices that will keep coming in. What if you can't do it? You know, if it's something new, you could even say that, I don't know, it's totally new. I don't know whether this is meant for me. If it is not meant for you, why is it coming in your periphery right now? Why is God putting that same person or the same situation or the same opportunity in your periphery again and again? It's only because it's pushing you that, yes, you are ready to go now. Srishti, take that plunge. Slowly, walk safely. Open yourself up. See where you feel you can't handle it. Reach out for help. Otherwise, just stay limited in this. Live like this, die like this, be born again. And that's all. But no, now you're ready to flower. Just imagine, look at a flower. Look at the buds when they are closed. They struggle to open up. Isn't it? They struggle to open up. But when they open up, what happens? Such beautiful, colorful flowers, fragrance, everything you get, isn't it? If they would just remain buds, then what? Every flower has a potential to flower, doesn't it? And so do each one of you. So when those opportunities are coming, when the sun is shining on the flower, it's time for the petals to open up. The soil is providing you all the nutrition. You know that you're totally supported. And supposing you're going to fall down, the gardener will come and plant a support stick. Universe will come. God will come and give you a support. Have full trust. And as long as you're meant to be flowering, fine. When you're wilting, you'll wilt and you'll go back to Mother Earth. Isn't it? But if you just say, no, I don't want to open up, I don't want to step out, then beyond a point, nobody can help you. You'll still wilt away, but you'll be suppressed in that thing. And then you keep thinking, oh, I got this opportunity. Why didn't I do it? Isn't it? Does that make sense, Srishti?
Absolutely, Auntie. Thank you for making me understand so beautifully.
You don't have to jump out. If you're not a person who can jump out, don't jump out. There'll be another person, and we will say, "Ha, theek hai, it's okay. I mean, let's see kya hoga." She just take
Yeah.
the punch, and Srishti will say, "No, let me take it one step at a time." And you're both fine. Don't judge yourself. Oh, Tanvi just goes out, and then you feel bad. Why did she? How come she's more successful, or she took this opportunity? Please don't take this personally. I'm just mentioning it about you. So you have to build up a little courage, and there's nothing wrong with you if you're not taking it in the plunge and you're taking it safely. Some people will tell her that, Tanvi, you're foolish. How are you taking the plunge like this? And some people will tell you, Srishti, you are foolish. You're taking so much of time over it. But you're both fine. You're both going according to the pace that you feel comfortable with. And actually, if you don't allow yourself to go out, you'll feel more uncomfortable. Imagine a child who wants to come out of the womb and is still in the womb. What is going to happen? Both the mother and the child are going to suffer, isn't it?
Right.
Right? When it's time for you to come out, you both have to make that effort to step out. But do it at the pace that you are comfortable. And if it doesn't happen, then of course the universe will support you.
Yes.
Right? Just remember these simple examples and see that you can absolutely step out. If you don't step out, then maybe now that you're in awareness, you'll think, oh gosh, why didn't I take that opportunity? Then again, I say it's okay. It was not meant for you. If it was meant for you, you would have taken it. But now learn from that. And when the next opportunity knocks, open the door. Ask God, please help me, hold my hand, take me one step at a time. And before you know, you'll be absolutely fine. It's just like, some people just jump into the swimming pool. They're such natural swimmers. They've not learned anything. Some person will keep taking classes after classes, but will still not really be able to swim to the deep end. And that's fine. But at least you've tried. You've jumped into the pool. You may be wearing you may be with a lifeguard or wearing a safety jacket. That's fine. But at least you've stepped out. Right? And slowly when you're ready, maybe you'll drop that jacket off also, but not, that's also fine. But at least you won't feel, oh, I never stepped into a swimming pool. I don't know from where these random stupid examples are coming.
But it really makes sense. Yeah, it does absolutely make sense.
Yeah. So don't be in fear and step back that, oh my God, it's going to be bad. You're already anticipating the worst, isn't it? You're already anticipating the worst if you're thinking that way. So don't just take gentle steps to step out, and you'll see it will happen. It will surely happen.
Thank you.
It's taking me to your example which you've given me of pupa, a butterfly, how the life cycle of a butterfly is, that the pupa has to, break open and then become a butterfly.
And when that pupa breaks open, it's like the most ugly. The caterpillar and that pupa are so ugly. They're so ugly. Actually, one of the examples of what can be ugly is a pupa, It's all messy, and the moment what comes out of it is such a beautiful, colorful, free flying butterfly. And it'll only come out when it's ready, isn't it? You try breaking an egg and saying, okay, I want a chicken out of it. No, nothing will come out. Only when the egg is ready to hatch, the chicken will come out. Isn't it?
The divine timing, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
True that. I remember you also were mentioning, whenever we are ready, so it only comes then. So it's primarily कि अपने मन का हो तो अच्छा और ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. Again, what we say it, in our
absolutely,
daily
absolutely, absolutely. But the openness has to come from inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the trusting has to be in a bigger picture, not just in what you can see. Uncertainty is what life is. I mean, that's been our biggest learning through the COVID, isn't it? We all had various plans to do this, go here, travel, get married, have kids, or, do so many things. But then you were just locked up in your house because that was a time for staying locked in. And then it was time to step out, and that's how everything in life is. So uncertainty is definitely something which is moment to moment. We do not know what is going to happen next moment to us. So live this moment to the fullest with open hands. Receive what God is giving you. And then we say, oh, I'm so unlucky. Nothing comes my way. I don't get opportunities. But you have to say that yes from inside. You have to say that yes from inside. Whether it is sorry, go ahead.
Now, I was saying sometimes we are not even open to receiving compliments or gifts also. You know, so
Absolutely. Coming to this, a lot of times, like when you have these ladies exchanging Sagan Kalifafas, it's like, oh, no, I'm not going to take it. Why are you giving this? This should not be given. And you know that the person will take it also, but they have to say those things. My daughter always says, don't fight, yeah, just give it to me. Why are you fighting over it? So, I mean, just receive in abundance. And, like in our group also, we used to say, oh, it's her birthday, I have to give her a gift and we have to do something. But now we've totally changed our perspective. When I go to the market and I see something and I say, oh, wow, this is just so much something, that my daughter will love, I'll pick up a gift like that rather than waiting for her birthday to give her that gift. Or I'll go and see something and I'll say, yeah, this is just something which, Vinita will love. So pick it up in that way and receive it in that way. Don't think, oh, I've received, now I have to give back. That's a barter system. Life is not a barter system at all. And know that when it is time for you to repay, you will repay in the way that you're meant to. But receive compliments all the time. If somebody tells you look at yourself in the mirror before you leave from home for a party, and you're looking good, you're feeling good. And if someone tells you that, oh, you're looking good, you'll say, no, it's okay. Why? Say, yeah, I'm feeling good also. Add to that compliment. It's not being arrogant. It's the space from which you accept that compliment. If you're accepting something from somebody, a gift from somebody, and you're feeling, oh, I have to give something back to the person, then that's just a barter system. That's not coming from a space of love. It's only coming, oh, she gave me a gift of about 300 rupees. I need to find something at least of 350 to give her. That's not fair. What you might like maybe just a 50 rupees, but it will be something so apt for the other person. So drop these boundaries in your mind. Drop these boundaries and open yourself up to receiving. And it is only in receiving that, you will give. The other day I went to meet somebody and they have a nurse who's been looking after her mother for so long. For so long, this lady is unwell and this nurse is serving her for so long. So I just felt like taking something for this little girl who's been, not little, but yeah, a grown-up girl who's been serving this patient. And I just thought, what can I take? And so I just opened my drawer and, there were these small things that we collect. A lipstick that I got free, a small Victoria's Secrets perfume, a lip balm, a small purse that maybe was given as a complimentary or a free gift. My drawer was full of it. I just made a little hamper with all these small things. And you should have seen the joy on her face. And we keep thinking, acha, abhi isko rakh lete hain. Maybe I can give it to somebody who's more deserving, who's more worthy of it, or will value it. But for her, it was like, wow, ye imported gift hai, isme imported perfume hai, isme imported lipstick hai. And there was so much joy in giving that. I would have kept it in my cupboard for another 10 years, maybe. So open yourself, open your heart to giving also. And you'll see how much more will come in. How much more will come in. But open your heart. And the biggest lesson that I wanted to convey through this was, don't just open your hands to receive for yourself. Open your hands so that you can give. With closed fists, can you give anything to anybody? You can only give with open hands. So open your hands to give, to receive, and from that receiving, giving. That is how we are going to live now. That is the underlying and the complete message of this quote that I wanted to share today. Open your hands to give. Compassion, kindness. Give not only materially, emotionally. Connect with kindness, connect with compassion, give compliments, give loving messages, send hugs, kisses. This is what you need to. But if you are closed, you will not be able to do it. To give a hug also, you have to open your hands. So in the same way, just open yourself. Just open yourself. I know so many people who came to me in the beginning of their career, and when they entered, it would be like, okay, just stay away. Like, I don't want to hug you. I don't know who this person is. My mother has forced me into this healing session. I don't know who this auntie is and what she's going to do with me. Some hocus pocus. And now they just rush into my room and they just hug me and they hug each other. In fact, I can say that for myself also. We used to have these dance sessions where we are just letting go and we put on music and, we're just moving just like this. And now it's like just flowing across the room. It's so freeing and liberating. So just whenever it comes into your awareness, open yourself up. Why am I stopping myself? My heart wants to really dance, but I feel, oh, everybody's looking at me. What will they think? She's dancing, she should be at home, she should be studying, she should, she's not getting married, she's not having a child, doesn't have a job. All these are only voices in your mind. Just chuck them out, just throw them out. I feel like dancing, my heart tells me to dance. Forget about whether I have a job or whether I'm married or whether I have a child or not. How does it matter? Just dance. And once you start dancing, see how many people will start dancing with you. You keep pulling people. Now everybody wants to dance. Don't you see in our weddings when you have those cocktail parties, 2 people are dancing, 3 people are dancing, then they pull the other people in. Everybody in their heart wants to dance, isn't it? But there's always this judgment of, oh, everybody's looking, I should be or I shouldn't be. And the moment you pull them in and, or they are 2 drinks down, it's like, forget about the world and they're dancing to the fullest. That's how we need to live and be high on all this, not just high in terms of being high with 2 drinks down. Just be high when your spirit's high in your own energy. I think I went off the topic.
Vanita auntie, please unmute yourself.
Sorry. No, I was just saying that, you're so true, Didi, that we are so constructed that we don't give compliments, we don't appreciate people, and we just think about, when we go to somebody's house, what are we carrying as a gift? But we don't realize that our energies are far greater and they speak faster than any of the gifts or any even words that can travel,
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it is.
And actually the person, like if you just open your heart and you go anywhere, you're always welcome, isn't it? Or your space is always so welcoming. I mean, you used to tell me all the time when you used to come to my house a few years back that everything is so welcoming because it's all open. It's not mine. Okay, don't go there, don't touch this. Sometimes I wonder when I go to these houses where people have all artifacts and, things lying here that anybody you have to move also carefully, otherwise you'll drop a vase or tilt over a table. I wonder how they live. Here it's like just be bindas, just live your life to the fullest. And if something is meant to break, it'll break. Yeah, it's okay. Nobody broke it intentionally. So live with that openness in every aspect of your life. Why do you have to only go for a retreat or a workshop or go out for a holiday? That's when you can just open yourself and live joyously. Make every day of your life a holiday, a open, vast playground where you can just run around, laugh, swing, jump, do somersaults, do everything that you want to do, everything that your heart desires. And in doing so, remember the message, just doing it for receiving and giving. Not just receiving to store it and to accumulate more clutter. It's to really open yourself out and offer yourself out.
And recycle. That's another problem that people do. Recycling. My God. And I think that's something we should do another session, Didi, on not recycling, but decluttering our mind and our hearts, because now Diwali is also coming, and what exactly is the meaning of declutter and cleaning spaces?
Yeah, of course we can do it. We'll do it next month for sure.
Yeah, we should do that, Didi. Makes so much of sense, and a better understanding from you of the entire concept will make so much clearer to each one of us.
Yeah.
And I think we should get into a meditation session. We're already, there.
Okay. So while I was just talking, sorry, Vinita, go ahead.
I was saying maybe a Ho'oponopono this time or a next time, because I've been getting some messages, requesting for a
okay.
Ho'oponopono.
I also had that, but I would like to do a longer session of Ho'oponopono sometimes, maybe in the next session, because this is too short a time now to do the Ho'oponopono. Maybe we should just close our eyes, connect to our breath, and connect to the heart center. Let's just do this for the next couple of minutes. So wherever you are, just sit back, just say a little prayer. Close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you shift your focus inwards. And when you breathe now, breathe into the center of your chest. Beautiful Anahata, or the heart center at the center of your chest. Gently breathe in and breathe out. Opening your heart fully to receiving. You only receive something that is held in that space. So when you connect to your heart and you open your heart, you only receive love. Heart is the center of love, unconditional love. So with each breath, visualize that this heart chakra is opening further and further and further, really expanding your heart. And it is only full of love, only full of love. This love that you so deeply love and hold and treasure in your life. So from this space of love, really ask for whatever it is that you want. Just drown in this love. Like I say, give love, receive love, become love. And from this space, like I said, let's really say a little prayer to God, to the universe, to all your friends in the spiritual realm. Give us the wisdom to really live with an open heart, an open mind. And when we say open mind and open heart, open space, let us not fall into the trap of physical needs and selfishness. We ask for this openness only from the space of knowing that it is in receiving that we give and it is in giving that we receive. So start giving this love, opening yourself to love, and pray that you're able to do that. This is not something that you need anything to be able to give love. You don't need any bank balance, you don't need any bank statements, you don't need any big house, material things. Love is your intricate nature. Love is who you are. A lot of times people say, I don't have it, so how can I give it? You have it, totally have it. So feel that love, that joy, and spread that love and joy. And pray that you receive more and more of it. You open all the vessels, all your chakras, all your energies to receive more and more of this abundance for yourself and for all those around you. Breathe into your heart center and feel that love, that joy, that smile that is pouring out of every cell, pouring into your eyes, pouring onto your lips. Giving love, receiving love, becoming love. Feel that love in every cell of your body. This is all we need. Everything else follows from this space. So knowing this, confirming this, that you are this love, you are this love, you are this love. Very slowly and gently, feeling that love rushing into you, into your body, into every cell of your body. Very slowly and gently, you may open your eyes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share your topics of what you would like us to talk on. Write them to Vinita, write them to me, write them on our Facebook page. And let's pick up topics that you still feel stuck with or need guidance in. We are more than happy to pick up any topics that you write to us. Don't think it's repetitive or it's such a basic, mundane topic. If it's troubling you, it is troubling you. So just know that without any judgments, you can write it to us. Thank you. Thank you so much.